Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Thank you for coming. I want to talk to you today about the Airbnb nightmare of a lifetime. I had it. I absolutely had it. And this is exactly what everybody's afraid of happening. And it did. And I'm here to tell you what not to do and what happened during that. So it involved 300 people in a 1,200 square foot house. It resulted in about $100,000 worth of damages. The craziest part, though, I didn't pay a dime out of pocket because I had good insurance in place. Let's dive into the details of this insane ordeal that took place. Now, I just want to be very clear and preface this whole story. This was my very first property and I had no idea what I was doing. This property was in a rural part of the state that I was working it in. And this is a very small property at that. 1,200 square feet is not a big house by any means. The other thing about this property was I didn't have a Ring camera at this point in time either. I didn't know that Ring cameras were a positive thing or a wise thing to put on your property, and this is why you need a Ring camera. Lastly, I posted this and got this booking through Vrbo. This is not through Airbnb, and this is where I learned the differences in policy and insurance through the fact that it was booked through Vrbo to begin with. This is when I learned to put my cleaning team on a stricter schedule. I didn't hear about what took place at this property for 4 days after it happened. That's when my cleaner called me when she went to clean the property. Because I didn't think that she needed to be on a stricter schedule because my calendar wasn't that booked. It was just that season of the year. She went over 4 days later, walked into the chaos that took place, and then had a conversation with the neighbor about what happened. And the neighbor called it a night from. The party goers had caused absolute havoc. I had a phone call with the neighbor once my cleaner got a hold of me and told me what was happening, and I got the details from him as well. The cops showed up. It was an absolute nightmare. Fights were happening and the neighbors were just trying to get everybody to leave. The cops showed up 3 times and they just eventually gave up because it was too many people and it became too risky for them at that point to step in and try to stop what was taking place. So they let it ride out. They let the whole thing just ride out. As the party escalated, sadly, somebody who was extremely intoxicated got behind the wheel of their vehicle and drove off down the road and inadvertently crashed into somebody else's car and also their house. That car was brand new and the owner had waited 6 months to receive that on a shipment for it to come in and for him to pick it up when it was 3 days old before he got it totaled. The damage caused by this amounted to around $100,000. This is the vehicle that the drunk driver drove off in and crashed into the neighbor's house and truck. Sadly, we were not able to obtain more pictures of the damage caused throughout this party. It was an absolute nightmare within a nightmare, and I had no idea that this was happening. Now, here's the silver lining to the entire catastrophe that transpired that night. I had the correct insurance in place so that I didn't have to pay a dime out of my pocket for anything that happened. When it boiled down to it, my insurance covered all the damages that took place at my landlord's property because I was doing rental arbitrage, and then they talked to and discussed all the damages and who's paying what for that, what transpired at all the neighbors that got involved unintentionally with that entire night. Ultimately, the payout that took place from the party was a benefit to my landlord because he needed to replace certain things at that property as is, and he was able to claim everything from that party on this new insurance, and he got everything paid out without question. It worked out really well, frankly. Now, the insurance that I had in place at this point in time was called Proper STR Insurance. Proper is the brand. That is the company itself. Proper Insurance covered everything down to a dog bite at that point in time within the policies. And I kid you not, they didn't bat an eye. We got a paycheck within 2 weeks that covered all the damages to my landlord's property. Vrbo Insurance only kicks in if things are happening in the act. It's crap. So there you have it. My Airbnb nightmare. a 300-person party that caused $100,000 worth of damages, a drunk driver that drove off and could have just destroyed everything that I was building. But thankfully, I had the insurance in place that saved me from absolute financial ruin. I hope this video serves as a cautionary tale for both hosts and renters. If you have similar stories or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Airbnb craziness and tips. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.